feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride no wave.
I don't know. Anyway, let me move on. We might jump back to it. Really quickly. Tim Westwood has been officially charged with several counts of sexual assault, aka R word, okay? Now, it said the former BBC Radio 1 DJ Tim Westwood has been charged with sexual offenses against 7 women, including 4 counts of R word. Now, this is a criminal case, not even civil. The Metropolitan Police say the 68-year-old guy had been charged with offenses dating from 1983 to 2016. Now, chat, what does this mean? They literally think this guy is the Bill Cosby of the UK. You get what I'm saying? Except, what Cosby used to say? He used to be talking about Jell-O. Shit, looked like this nigga had tea and crumpets for these chicks. Like, he probably was Bill Cosby in the tea and crumpets. I know it's not funny, but come on now. Metropolitan Police says the 68-year-old had been charged with the offenses dating from 1983 to 2016. Officers said their investigation remained open and urged anyone with further information to come forward. He has been charged with 15 offenses related to 7 young women, 4 counts of R-word, 9 counts of indecent assault, and 2 counts of sexual assault. The alleged violence included the R-word of a female aged between 17 and 18 in London between 95 and 96, as well as sexual assault of the same girl in central London in a similar time period. He's also been charged with R-word and sexual assault of a female aged between 17 and 18 in London between 2000 and 2002. The R-word of a woman in her 20s in London in 2010. Other charges include indecent assault of a 17-year-old girl in Fulham, London in 1983, sexual assault of a woman in her 20s. Oh, wow, this is a lot of shit, man. Yeah, this is a lot of shit. Our investigation remains open, and we encourage anyone who has been impacted by this case or anyone with information to come forward to speak with us. They got a hotline for this nigga, man. Shit. Wow. Now, he was released by BBC One Extra, I believe 2 years ago. But they're saying in 2022, they published an account of 18 women who accused the former DJ of sexual misconduct and predatory behavior, alleged to have happened between 1992 and 2017. In response to historical allegations, he previously strongly denied the allegation of inappropriate behavior. He stepped down from his show on Capital Extra in April 2022 and left Radio 1 and Radio 1 Extra after 20 years. Says it takes courage to come forward. That's what Detective Superintendent Andy Furry said. The women have done so, put their trust in us, and we continue to provide them with all available support. Our investigation remains open. Wow. He's due to appear at the Westminster Magistrate Court next month. So it's not even clear if has he been arrested? Or is he being detained? I can't tell. Now, this was announced early on all these BBC stations. Listen to this.
Now let's return to that breaking news of the last few minutes. Just let me remind you what prosecutors here in the UK have said. They have charged the former BBC Radio DJ Tim Westwood with 4 counts of rape, 9 counts of indecent assault, and 2 other counts of sexual assault. So those details coming in the last few minutes. Here in the studio with me is our senior UK correspondent, Seema Katecha. And Seema, just tell us a little more what the Crown prosecution have actually said in the last few minutes?
Yes, right. So, Matthew, as you say, Tim Westwood, 68-year-old, used to be a DJ on One Extra for many, many years. He has now been charged with 9 counts of indecent assault, 2 counts of sexual assault, 4 counts of rape. Now, these relate to non-recent offences between 1983 and 2016 involving 7 women, so they're not recent, and he's going to appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on the 11th of November. We can tell you what the CPS say. They say that they've decided to prosecute Tim Westwood for a series of serious offences. Our prosecutors have established that there is sufficient evidence to bring the case to trial and that it is in the public interest to pursue criminal proceedings. The Crown Prosecution Service reminds everyone that criminal proceedings are active and that the defendant has the right to a fair trial. I can bring you a few more details from the Metropolitan Police about these allegations of these offences. He's been charged with the following. In 1983, a 17-year-old girl was indecently assaulted in the Fulham area of London. In 1986, a woman in her 20s was sexually assaulted in the Vauxhall area of London. Between 1995 and 1996, a female between the ages of 17 and 18 was raped in London. It is also alleged that the same woman was sexually assaulted in
Again, and pardon me, maybe I shouldn't even ask this, but how is all this shit going down? How is all of this bullshit going down? Like, is he like inviting them over to where he lives at? Like, is he partying with these people? How come there's so many 17-year-olds? He's 68 now. Huh.
Central London within the same time frame. Between 2000 and 2001, a female between the ages of 17 and 18 was raped and sexually assaulted in London. In 2010, a woman in her 20s was raped in London. In 2010, a woman in her 20s was sexually assaulted in Stroud. In 2016, a woman in her 20s was sexually assaulted in the Finchley area of London. And as I said, these charges relate to 7 different women.
A couple of questions. Remind people watching around the world a little more about who Tim Westwood was. How long did he work for the BBC? When did these allegations first emerge? And has there been any reaction from him or the BBC?
Yes, so he worked on One Extra for many, many years. One of the most famous DJs at that time. And some of our viewers and listeners may recall that in, let me just remind you of the date, 2022 in April, the BBC actually carried out an investigation where it heard from 18 different women making very serious...
Yeah, now, Tim Westwood, I only see him from the entertainment aspect, so I want to be just careful. I don't know what he had going on. I don't know what culture he was fostering. From what I'm hearing, when you hear that this amount of women, clearly he must had something going on that continually to put women in harm's way. Obviously, if any of these women are victims, we send our, prayers to those people. But we don't know what this is. Now, he's been like, these rumblings of, he did X, Y, and Z has lasted for the last few years, but I'm also really wondering because he was the premier DJ in the UK that was connecting with all the hot artists from the United States. I'm wondering how many of his colleagues knew about this, or maybe it's news to them as well. Did they know that some of this stuff was going to come out? Because again, the investigation, I felt like I kept hearing this rumbling for like years, to the point that I was like, nah, ain't nothing gonna happen out of this. To now he's actually charged. So we're going to have to see.
Counts of indecent assault and 2 other counts of sexual assault. So those details coming in the last few minutes. Here in the studio with me is our senior UK correspondent, Seema Katecha. And Seema, just tell us a little more what the Crown Prosecution have actually said in the last few minutes.
Yes, right. So, Matthew, as you say, Tim Westwood, 68-year-old, used to be a DJ on One Extra for many, many years. He has...
Okay, so not too sure what's happening there, but I think it's important that he keeps his presumption of innocence, but I will say this don't sound right when you have multiple people and look like they're all within very suspicious age. And I guess I'm saying that because, I don't know what the law is there in the UK, but I mean, it kind of shouldn't matter. Like, especially if you're in your 40s, just generally, you shouldn't be wanting to date a 17-year-old or deal with a 17-year-old. The Answer Project, what up with you, brother? He said, your act became my new go-to for late night content. Thank you, my guy. Thank you. By the way, great interview. I was watching while I was on steak earlier. Great interview with 6ix9ine, man. Dan's going to go get the content. I ain't going to lie to you. He will. All right? So, okay. So, I don't really know what's going on, but it appears that everybody weren't that surprised. Like, I think from us, I could imagine the bloke to be doing such things like this. But when these allegations came to light, everybody in the UK, none of them was like, what? Everybody was like, almost on some about time shit. So I don't really know. And I don't want to, just kind of like say something to make him look crazy. All right. I got to fix my sleep schedule, man. These